You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Hello, good evening and welcome, dear listeners. Welcome to a cool evening in South Bermondsey, post-Christmas Thursday, whatever that might be called, I don't know. Welcome to Achtung Millwall. My name is Nick Hart. You are listening, of course, to the number one Millwall podcast for the visit tonight of Bristol City. The Lions enter tonight's match on the back of that magnificent, truly magnificent 2-0 win at Watford on Boxing Day, which I think was Monday. Lose track of what day of the week it is, listeners. But that was one of the most complete Millwall performances, home or away, I've seen in a long time. I dare say you too. Can they follow it up with some consistency tonight? That's going to be the big question. Bristol City sit way down in the table, although not that many points behind us, 27 points I believe, and I haven't got it to hand, that they're about 18th or 17th in the league table. Millwall, of course, just pushed out tonight from 6th spot with other results, Luton winning at Queen's Park Rangers. So Millwall now drop down to 7th as we speak, as the teams enter the pitch. Your Lions side tonight, Jules Long and goal, back line, Wallace, Hutchinson, Cooper, McNamara, in front of them Billy Mitch, Jules Saville. The attacking three, Tyler Bury, Zian Fleming, Andreas Vogelsammer, and up front Tom Bradshaw. That's an unchanged side from what was, as I've said already, a very, very strong win at Vicarage Road. The Lions will want to press on tonight. This is the kind of game we really ought to be dispatching. It's the kind of game historically we have failed to dispatch. So the big question is, can we produce a performance good enough to get past Bristol City tonight? As the London News Online puts it, in the words of Hughie Green, opportunity knocks. Opportunity knocks, dear listeners. Decent crowd in this. It's quite busy outside. People milling around outside. A lot of queues for tickets. Maybe a few latecomers. Maybe a lot of people weren't going to come. Then on the strength of that win at Watford, Boxing Day, they decided to come. I don't know. Ground is filling up. Millwall tonight in their familiar, iconic, dare I say, dark blue shirts and white shorts. Bristol in a traditional way gear for Bristol, with white shirts and black shorts. Kind of 70s styling. Managed by Nigel Pearson. My regular line with Nigel Pearson is he'd make a great Northern Undertaker in a Charles Dickens drama. If he ever looks for an alternative career. We're going to be attacking the away end in the first half in accordance with the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle written by the Venerable Bede, with only his own quill and some parchment back in the 8th and 9th centuries, or 9th centuries. It didn't take him that long to write it. It is a cracking read, all in Old English, of course. We're going to kick this off. Zian Fleming. Well, away we go, dear listeners. It's an incredibly tight division, of course, the Championship. Millwall's 35 points, just in 7th position now, but I think I was reading that as far down as Birmingham, was it, on 17th position? They're just 3 points behind us on 32, so it's an immensely tight division. No real room for long ball down the middle. Vogelsammer, Route 1 stuff, he's back to goal. Just couldn't take and turn there. Opportunity, great tackle by Danny Mack, keeping the pressure on the right side, but I think Bristol will clear it and do. That was right down the middle, Route 1, with Vogelsammer pushing further forwards more centrally. That's interesting. I wonder if Mill's trying to mix it up a little bit. I did see some stickers online with the Zian Fleming song on them. This is now Tyler Bury on the left side. Comes to 4 minutes. Tyler gets a little bit lucky to get that through. Tried to beat his man, but didn't quite do it. But it's gone for Mill throwing anyway. A quarter of the way into the Bristol half. I imagine those stickers will be appearing on lampposts all around and the away games and whatnot. Never really got into the whole sticker scene myself. Quite law-abiding. I don't go around stickering things, you know. George Saville being pushed from behind by the ponytailed. What number is he? Can't tell you what. No, who cares what number he is? He's got his hair in a kind of a ponytail. Number 11, I think. Not that it matters greatly to you, dear listeners. Anyway, Mill free kick. This is Ian's country. It's probably about 30 yards, just wide, just right of the centre of the. He's placing it with great care and delicacy. Zian. He's giving it quite a build-up. 3 steps back. Little tap of his orange boot on the floor. Here it goes. High over the bar after all that. About 3 yards over the bar. 6.5 minutes. I haven't actually checked where Zian was born. Does he come from Amsterdam? I thought he came from Sittard. Whether he was born in Sittard, I don't know. I don't know where Sittard is, to be blunt, but still. Got a bit out of practice doing this, listeners. You do get out of practice. Well, I haven't been doing any what I might call live streams of consciousness for a while. Just doing it at home. It's different vibe, different mojo. You get a bit out of practice. Rusty. This is George Long with a free kick and deep in the Millwall half. 8.5 minutes. Famed for his distribution, George Long. I need more imaginative nicknames. Longy should be DHL with his distribution, shouldn't he? Little flick header on there that's going to be put into touch. Gary Rowett does love a last name based nickname. Stylesy, Longy, Hutchie, Coops. I think more imagination should be brought about. DHL for Long. Starsky for Hutch. I'm running out of ammunition with that. Let's lump back into the mix. Bristol will bring it away. I remember Crystal Palace when they relaunched themselves back in the early 70s. They invented nicknames for all their players. I think they called Mel Blythe Masterpieces, and what that related to I don't know. Can't believe he was an artist. And Derek Posse was playing for them in the 73, must have been 73, 74 season. When they got relegated, they relaunched themselves in red and blue stripes, abandoned all that. They abandoned their nickname, became the Eagles rather than the Glaziers, but they also invented nicknames for their players. They used to have a programme with all their nicknames on the team lineup. Masterpiece is the only one that I remember now. And the Sheriff was Derek Posse. Kerfuffle there, but George Long putting it into touch with his famed Amazon levels of distribution there, giving Bristol City a throw-in halfway inside the Mill half. 17 minutes in. It's been a fairly Mill have yet to really click, in my opinion. Bristol have come forwards a couple of times, not with any great danger, but certainly we're not really flowing at the moment. Our juices are not yet flowing. Beautiful nutmeg by Berry Mitch to keep possession in their own half. And playing like a boy possessed through the legs of the Bristol forward there. Not quite flying by the seat of our pants there, but some of the passes were very much at speed and at pace. Crowd trying to get behind their 11. This is Saville. Just crossing into the Bristol half. Wallace on the left, Tyler. Not really made much of an impact. He takes his man on now. Goes past him with ease. Oh, that was a bullet header. Crossing from the left by Tyler. Bullet header. Didn't really know much about it by Tom Bradshaw. Headed over the bar 23 minutes. First real chance. Lovely glide past his defender there by Tyler Bury. I was just about to say he's not done much. And then he did something, and it was something that other players can't do. That's the thing with wingers like Tyler Bury, listeners. They can do things that others can't. This is the 26 from distance. He's trying to chip it into the middle. That is headed into the 6-yard box, but hooked clear by Gilles Saville. Bristol have threatened rather than been dangerous, if that makes any kind of sense. You get a sense that they're going to keep putting the ball into dangerous areas, and they've only got to get lucky once, that kind of side. Desperate cries in the wilderness. Come on, Millwall. There's Danny Mack on the right side, ticking towards 38 minutes now. This is Vogelsammer. Ball's into the middle. That's behind the forwards there, unfortunately. But it's picked up by Murray Wallace. It's Tyler now on the left side. He's controlled embarrasses in there, and the crowd getting on his case slightly. Long one in towards the box. It's bouncing around. It falls to Vogelsammer. Oh, he hits the crossbar. Deflected onto the crossbar. It's still bouncing around. Cooper's in the mix, and the goalkeeper collects. Wow, that was a volley from Vogelsammer. It took a deflection onto the crossbar. 41 minutes. First real moment of the half. That is bad luck by Vogelsammer. How many times has that player hit the crossbar, the woodwork, since he's come over from Germany? Scored on Boxing Day, but even then he hit the crossbar in the second half. Wow. Here come the Lions. 43 minutes. I don't know about this bloke in front of me, listeners. Oh dear. Lovely little inside ball, finds Ian Fleming. That was Danny Mack. Ian does a take and turn. It's still on the right side. Billy Mitchell now, central, is finding Murray Wallace on the left. 43rd minute. Just not quite opening up at the moment, Millwall, but we've still got possession. This is Vogelsammer on the left. Takes his man on. This is Tyler Bury. No space for Tyler. Murray Wallace now, what can he do? He gets a cross into the middle. Headed away under no real pressure in the middle. Bit of an exodus for the drinks cabinet downstairs. A glass of sherry, I imagine. Possibly a Pinot Grigio, the Millwall vintage. We've got some stuffed olives. I don't think they do stuffed olives down on the West Upper eatery. That German sausage outlet was doing some trade before the game, I noticed, listeners. Ball inside. That's going to be hoof clear by the 5 for Bristol. Should be the last play of the first half. What's been a fairly disjointed half in many respects. Mill haven't quite clicked. Best moment of the half from the Lions' point of view obviously was that Vogelsammer's shot, the volley, deflected onto the crossbar. Very bad luck. Bristol haven't really had any decisive open chances. They've had moments where they've got the ball into threatening areas perhaps, but nothing to write home about. This is going to be their last opportunity, so left-sided corner. And it comes, punched away by Jules Long. And there's the half-time whistle, listeners, 0-0.
Achtung, Millwall.
Big news of the night, of course, in the wider footballing world, was the passing of an iconic figure, Pelé, hero of the 1970 World Cup. I was 9 years old when that was on. I can't say I remember much of it live, but I have seen the footage of it many, many times since. And Pelé was always one of those players that you wanted to be when you kicked the football around in Castlecombe School playground. Pelé, George Best and Bobby Charlton, one of the greats of all time. So he passed away tonight. He's not been well for a little while. There was a rumour that he passed away the other day or is close to it, but now it is officially confirmed. So R.I.P. Pelé, one of the greatest, if not the greatest football name of all time, in my humble opinion. Breaking story today as well that Isaac Alofe is set to sign for Stockport County. This is from Richard Corley, the London News Online. Stockport County set to win the race for Millwall striker Isaac Alofe. Apparently there have been a number of bids for him. including I think Gillingham, but looks like Stockport are going to win out. Never really worked for Isaac. I wish him well. I thought when he came back from Sutton, he scored well for Sutton in the National League, and then I think when they were in League 2, but never quite ignited a den. We have seen him a few times. Whether he's had enough of an opportunity or not, I don't know. The standards of Championship football are such that you don't get that many chances, unfortunately. So I wish Isaac Alofe well in wherever he goes. Let's hope Stockport do well, and he's an integral part of that. Also, I want to send my best wishes to Hayden Muller, who's also going to be allowed to leave the club in the January transfer window. 20-year-old Hayden, again, like Isaac, probably just too far down the Millwall pecking order. Here come the lines for the second half, listeners, but Bristol are already out. We'll just enter the pitch. A bit of online comment on the WhatsApp groups online about the amount of energy that performance at Watford would have taken out of this Millwall side. We had looked a bit tired, a little bit flat in the first half, and I dare say that with a pretty tough schedule, we've got another game on Sunday against Rotherham, that may play into Gary Rowett's plans for the second half. We have looked a little bit flat-footed at times in the first half, and I imagine they will be feeling the pace after that show at Watford. It was so good, but it would have taken a lot of energy out of them. But anyway, Bristol City line up to kick off, attacking the away end. Millwall, of course, in accordance with the Venerable Bede's Chapter 1, Verse 1 of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, will be attacking the Coldblow Lane end in the second half. Away we go. The pace in January is pretty hectic. We've got FA Cup football on the 7th, I think, of January against Sheffield United. We won't really want a replay out of that, we'll want it. So they will probably want the same. We'll settled it on the day. Bit of lack of control by Tyler. I think he's feeling the pace. I think I would probably hook Tyler at some point soon. A couple of little wayward bits of control in the first half. But then again, that moment of sublime skill that I mentioned, that's a 50-50 ball from... I think he put Jules Long in trouble there, but he did clear it and found a pass as well, actually. I've got to stop calling him DHL in that case, because he did deliver there. There goes Tyler on the left, on the run, on the left side into the box. Slid backwards, he had the right idea, had too tight an angle when he finally got into the danger zone. Not enough of an angle or pace on the pass to find Tom Bradshaw, but it was a great run by Tyler Bury there, after I've just been saying I'd hook him. It probably shows why I never went into the football management game, listeners. Bristol, 51 minutes nearly, pressing on the right side of Mill penalty area, balls into the mix. That's Long, down low, takes it well. The 11 was lurking at the far post there, but it never got anywhere near him. 51 minutes. Picture of Scott Malone on Mill TV on the big screen. Scott's gone for this kind of Guido Fawkes kind of look, moustache and little dots centre of his chin. I'm not sure it's all right if you're a kind of a 16th century anarchistic Roman Catholic plotter, but is that Scott Malone? I don't know. He does love a fancy haircut though, doesn't he, Scotty? Bradshaw just getting crowded out a little bit. He's got a lot of men around him. Not much in the way of support for Tom Bradshaw when the ball gets punted forwards towards him. 52 minutes. Bristol so far doing a decent job of containing us, I think, is probably the best way to put it. And Millwall not quite flowing, as we've said a few times over the course of the evening so far. You get a sense it would only take one chance, but that could equally apply to them as much as us. Bloke's just come in with his girlfriend. He's got the most flamboyant jacket I've seen in a long time at a den. It's a kind of like a gold lame number, like a puffer jacket. Some kind of like golden orange lame with a tropical design of some sort across the back. It's flamboyant. He's with his girlfriend, but it's the kind of thing that Liberace would not be ashamed of, listeners. 53 minutes. Bristol in possession. The 11 on the edge of the penalty. His ball high over the bar, shot over the bar. 54 minutes. Crowd getting behind the Lions. the knock. Who's this? This looks like Styles coming in. I think it's going to be Tyler. It is indeed Tyler coming out of the game. He's not been his most effective. He had that one flash of brilliance in the first half, but apart from that, not his greatest fan in front of me. I think it's very much a Tyler game. Sometimes you'll get good, sometimes you'll get bad. There we are. We're just losing out in the challenge in midfield. I think the half-time instructions must have been to them to mix it more. They're a little bit second best at times in that first half, but they're certainly looking to be more physical. In comes a corner, near post. It's flicked across the face of the Mill goal. Bouncing around, that should go. No, he's picked up the 11 on the right side. He's been their main point of attack, that 11. Styles does well to get the ball there. I thought that got away from him. Mill not really exerting control in the midfield in this second half, listeners. 64 minutes. Bristol coming back again. Sense of anxiety around the den. That's going to run through to Jules Long. Comes towards the halfway point of the second half. I'd say it's probably been Bristol's quarter, if you want to put it in those Americanised terms. They've certainly looked a stronger side in the second half than they did in the first half. We've found it fairly difficult to make much headway, in truth, and they've had moments of danger there. Best chance of the game remains that one for Vogelshammer in the first half, but apart from that, not an awful lot from the Millwall sides. Loose ball there from Danny Max. There's a 16 just on the left side. Here's the 7 now, just on the left side of Mill. Penalty shot on target. Ooh, goalkeeper down long down low and took well. I think if he had spilled that, would have been a goal. There's a forward lurking there. 72 minutes. Mill just running into blind alleys and they're all trying to pass their way through there. That's nice work by Billy Mitchell. I was just about to criticise. They've won the ball back well. Passes it wide right to Danny Mack. Takes his man on. Not an awful lot to play with in front of him. That's a little 1-2 with Vogelshammer. Ball across the face of the goal. No one there. Zian Fleming now on the left. 73rd minute. Coming to 74. Zian tries to take his man on. Just ran into two defenders again. Story of the half. In truth. We're just starting to run. We're just starting to run out of ideas. Bristol now coming down the left, unchallenged. The 27 on the left side's got a ball into the middle. Danny clears it. Oh, the ball's flipped through. Fantastic save by Jules Long from the 11. Wow, the ball bobbled through the 11. He was through on goal in space. And Long came out and blocked it. Wow, good save. Bristol were very much pressed in the second half. We've been somewhat second best, in my opinion, to them for the bulk of the half. This is the 21. He finds a 14 in space. Chance. Across the face of the goal, and that almost hits the corner flag. Goal kick. We're all living on their nerves somewhat, listeners. Free kick chipped forwards. Bouncing. Oh, the 17's put it wide. Wow, that was whipped in at a pace. It fell to the 17. I think he was offside. Wow. Should have scored that. How did he miss? He's put it wide left. I think it was offside. May not have counted in any event. We've gone from lame jacket to another bloke wearing just a t-shirt tonight. Ain't that cold? Ain't that warm, mate? Blimey.
One more time. Let's go.
Dear oh dear. I think it was. I was going to say more entertaining the game, but I'm not sure I'm finding it entertaining, listeners. Am I miserable old sod? No, he's all right. He's all right, really. People are looking at me, listeners. I have nothing to do with him. Oh my giddy aunt. 82 minutes. There is a football match going on down here. Lumped forwards. Ball bouncing around. Up in the air. Free kick given to Bristol.
One more time, Emmy. Give it to me. Oh! Oh! Wait.
The little girl with him to explain. A gentleman who I think is eccentric, mucking about with a little girl because she's presenting to hit him, and that kerfuffle is him pretending to be, in pain. It's an old shtick, but it's working. A lot of people looking at him. Oh, let's get this game over and done with. I don't want to go home now. He's paying no attention to the game, you man, listeners. I think he's on something. Ball now in from the left. It falls to Honeyman, who can't control it. It's gone for a goal kick. 84 minutes. Honeyman now on the right. Danny Mack. This is Styles into the penalty area. He can't get space for a shot. It's going to go for a corner. Just 2 minutes, so it's now or never, listeners. Right sided corner for Millwall. Floated in, it's near post, that's headed upwards, it's still in the mix, bouncing around. Falls for that, Murray Wallace over the bar. I think it might be the last chance. It's been a grind of a game, in truth. We've not really done enough to warrant a win. If we did nick it, then that would be wonderful, but I don't think we will do now at this late stage. Bristol are going to be taking their time on this goal kick. Second half we've been second best, listeners. First half I thought we might have edged it in overall terms. We had the best chance with that Vogelshammer shot that hit the crossbar. Otherwise we've not really done enough going forwards. They have had opportunities themselves in the second half, so a point apiece is probably a fair result if that's how it finishes. But in truth, Millwall have looked a little bit tired and flat after the performance at Vicarage Road on Boxing Day. So it's been a difficult night, a grind of a game overall. Man of the match for Millwall tonight. Everyone's given everything they've got to give. I think I'll probably go with Danny Mack again. He's been energetic. I mean, it's difficult to pick one because it's not been such a great performance, and that's been uniformly average by Millwall if you want. There's a ball hoofed clear there by Murray Wallace down the middle. Zian's after it. I think he'll get it, unfortunately. This just wants lumping back in the middle, Murray. We haven't got much time to play with, mate. Lump it in there, mate. And Billy now, got to get it forwards. We're farting around with it. If it really wants down the middle. And there goes the final whistle. That's not a boo. That is not a boo performance. That's been a frustrating game against decently organised opponents, and Millwall never quite got it going. But that is not worth booing, in my opinion. As ever, night games seem to draw a strange crowd. But there we are. It finishes probably the right result, in truth. Millwall 0, Bristol City 0.
Hello listeners, Mike Hayden here, following that disappointing 0-0 draw at home to Bristol City. We play like Barcelona one week and we play like Accrington Stanley the next. And this is why I'm struggling to see how we can finish in the top six. I mean, we just can't seem to string some wins together, which is really, really frustrating. I mean, Watford away was arguably our best performance of the season. The other one was probably when we beat them at home as well. But, this side, I think, struggle a bit against teams who just plant, a back five, two holding midfielders, and have clearly come for a point. I mean, we saw that against Wigan. We saw it last night as well. But it frustrated us. And then, to be honest, Bristol City, I thought, actually had the better chances towards the end of the game. I mean, I'm struggling to think of a chance for ourselves. Obviously, Vogelshammer had a good chance, which obviously deflected onto the bar. I think if that would have gone in, we probably would have gone on to win the game. We've got quite a decent clean sheet record, but it wasn't to be. There was unfortunately, back to the old days sort of last season, sort of a bit of lack of creativity and pace. I always find it strange. I understand this sort of theory not to change a winning team. But, you know, when you've just played Boxing Day to then play the same team again pretty quickly afterwards in a midweek game, I don't necessarily agree with that. You know, I know we've got a few injuries and stuff like that, but, you know, you've got to look at it and maybe bring in 3 fresh heads. You know, could you've maybe started a Phoba yesterday? I know Honeyman's not impressed very much, but, you know, Bury was really ineffective yesterday. So, you know, I just think, you know, it's one of those performances where you've given absolutely everything at Watford. Go again the next few days and try. You just can't play with the same intensity, I don't think, with the 11. Not really any stand-up performance. I thought Murray Wallace was good today. Certainly went on a few Lionel Messi runs before spooning the ball over the bar. But yeah, I thought Hutchinson had a good game. But other than that, it was a pretty passive performance from the Lions. We've got to beat Rotherham on the weekend. And, you know, we're still, I think, a couple of points off the top 6. But I don't want to keep saying this, listeners, because every season under Rowett, you're always sort of saying, we're only sort of 2 to 4, you know, points off the top 6. But that never changes. So, you know, we need to just stabilise ourselves in that top 6, and that only comes if you get a follow-up performances. So, big game against Rotherham on New Year's Day. I'm sure we'll all be going there with a sore head. Let's hope we don't leave with a sore throat shouting at another poor performance. Anyway, go on you Lions, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
Hi Nick, Jim Hackett here. Just calling you straight on the final whistle. It's a difficult one to watch, wasn't it, all the way through. As good as they were against Watford, I thought we were pretty ropey tonight. Started out very sloppy. I think in the first 20 seconds, McNamara gave the ball away from a simple pass, and then we give away a throw-in from long, and it just set the tone for the rest of the match. I thought we were really woeful. You know, some of the passing, some of the not lack of effort, but just the not picking up many second balls. It was really frustrating to watch. I would have hated to have been at the Den tonight to watch that, because very much like the Wigan game, you never saw anything coming our way. And to be fair to Bristol City, the last 20 minutes, they could have nicked a couple of goals past us. And I put that down to both Hutchinson and Cooper, who both suddenly went from being fantastic at Watford, started out all right tonight, but the last 20 minutes, I thought there were accidents waiting to happen. They have this ability to pass the ball nowhere, and then when it really matters, their defending does get a little bit ropey. So I'm really disappointed tonight just watching that. I can't think, probably Danny Mack had a decent game. Long kept us in it with a fantastic save. But apart from that, I think we sort of got away with it. We could have won it. I mean, if Wallace had put that shot in right at the end, it would have been unfair of Bristol City, but we'd have took it with a great joy. Vogie's shot in the first half that went onto the bar, that was probably as good as it was going to get for us. But no, I think after the elation of Watford, this sort of brings us back down to earth. And unfortunately, with the group of players you've got, you just can't see where they're going to get their goals from. Afobe come on, didn't really look the part for me for 15 minutes. It's just it's a squad it's a mess, isn't it? I think the better the team we play, who want to play football, I think it suits our players to counter that. I think when teams dig in like Bristol City did, like Hull did, I think we really struggle to break teams down, and possibly maybe that's where Rowett should look at possibly maybe playing 2 up front, you know, giving Bradshaw some help so that when these long balls do come out of defence, we've got a second person there who can help him out and close down a little bit quicker. But overall, I think 0-0, it looked 0-0 from the off and it ended up 0-0, and probably a fair result for both sides. But I think Bristol City will be disappointed they didn't get a win there. I think we'll be disappointed, but over the 2 games, Watford and Bristol City, if you'd have said we'd have got 4 points, probably got the points the wrong way round, but I think we'd have took it. Let's hope we can get some spark into us ready for the Rotherham game. Okay, thanks Nick. Bye-bye.
Hi Nick, it's Matt Richards here. Just calling in after the game last night. Before I do, just want to make a plug for the Achtung calendar. I bumped into you yesterday, didn't I, at the Lions Food Hub, and picked up my copy there, made my donation. Fantastic item. I was flicking through it just before the game. Superb photos. So I definitely recommend any Millwall fan to grab hold of a copy. I know there's some are going on sale this Sunday at the Food Hub, and also you can get it online as well. So yeah, definitely buy one because it's a brilliant item for a fantastic cause. Game wise, it was obviously a really frustrating game. Looking back, you kind of think that, I don't know, we're playing with more freedom away now. Seems like a weird thing to say, but you look at the performance on Boxing Day, and you think about Preston, even I think Sunderland, we dominated that first half. We're creating more chances away from home. We're playing with more freedom, more confidence away from home. The last few games anyway, albeit I know it's been a bit of a stop-start because of the World Cup. But then you look at our last 3 home games. The last time we won at home was against West Brom, which feels like, well, it is weeks and weeks ago, almost 2 months ago. Thinking about Jed coming back and everything, and so we've got to do something about that. I don't know why it is we're not creating chances. Teams will obviously sit back more when we're at home because they know our strengths. But we just need to think of different ways to break through them. We need to break down their banks of 4 in midfield and in defence, and because it's just not working at the moment. We're playing the same tactics. We need to get the ball to Fleming more, but then similarly we can't over rely on him because as much as he is a really top player for us, he's not going to get us promoted single-handedly. It's just not going to happen. He's a 1.7 million player. That doesn't happen in this league. We need to have more support from elsewhere, and that's why I think at turn of the year, it's an obvious thing to say, but we need more quality up front. Real winger, somebody else up front as well as a centre forward as well. Just get different options because there's nothing on the bench last night. If you looked at the bench with half an hour to go, we're putting on Callum Styles for Bury. I mean, that's not going to get you out of your seat, is it? And then you've got a Phobia who's coming back. He's, not match fit. We need more if we're going to go up. And hopefully Berylson sees that, and we can get some decent loans in because we definitely do need it. I mean, the game, it was sloppy. I thought we looked tired in midfield. Maybe that's physically or mentally, I don't know. That could have partly been the reason. I had a few chances, but not a lot. I think, Vogelsammer is really unlucky. If that had gone in, I think we would have won the game. It was one of those games where there wasn't going to be a lot of chances. But we didn't, even the second half, when we did get forward into the final third, if you like, the balls into the boxes weren't good enough quality, were they? From Danny, from Vogelsammer. It just never felt like we were going to score. We had a bit more activity, I guess, when the subs came on. Honeyman, Shackleton, but Styles was okay, but nothing to kind of think. Well, actually, we're going to get a goal, and that's what we need. We need to score more goals. Obvious thing to say, I know. So yeah, disappointing. I mean, what with the calendar, the Achtung calendar, I think you could probably fill up a calendar a day with all the disappointments we've had over the years when you're looking forward to a game after a fantastic performance like Boxing Day, and then suddenly you get let down again. How many games over the years have we had? We've had a few of those games this season already, haven't we? But yeah, we'll go again. We still have got a good chance because everybody's average in this league apart from the top 2. So we need 3 points. I know we say it all the time, but we need 3 points. We just show we can do it at home again. That's what we need to do. Build up some confidence. We seem to build in confidence for away games, and just keep at it because we do still have a good chance of promotion this year. So that's it. That's it for me. Thanks a lot, Nick. Come on, you Lions.
Hi Nick, John Rankin just calling in after the hangover after the party at Watford. I mean, to be honest with you, the consensus of opinion was that we were going to struggle to get a result, and we did. It had 0-0 or 1-0 to Bristol or Millwall written all over it from the word go, really, to be honest with you. There was no real structure to the play. Zian Fleming didn't really get going. He got some possession on the outside of the box and he looked a bit hesitant. I don't really know what to make of it. Bristol played very well. They moved the ball well. They attacked down our left. I thought all in all we held it together, but it was very much touch and go. Vogelslammer, for me, played very well again. He was awfully unlucky. He hit the crossbar in the first half. In the second half, we huffed and puffed and we got the ball in the box, but we really lacked that extra bit of creativity. I've got to feel sorry for Tom Bradshaw. I mean, he's 5'8" and he's a goal poaching inside forward, really, and we seemed to just pump long ball up after long ball up to him, and he had absolutely no chance against some very tall defenders. And I just think we've got to do better than that, really. We weren't playing the ball. We didn't really get any passing going. There was one or two periods where we played the ball out, but to be honest with you, we were a different side than the one that faced Watford, or were Bristol a different side than Watford. I've got to say, I thought Bristol played well, and they had a chance in the second half, I think in about the 85th minute, where the number 11 virtually missed an open goal. So onward and upward. Not really a lot to say. We go on to Rotherham. Let's try and pick 5 points or 7 points up out of the 9 that was available. What I would say is it just shows you there's not many points separate us from the likes of Bristol. Although they're 18th and we were 6th, it looked like pretty two evenly matched teams to me. So over and out. Come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.